Welcome to the girls. If you're looking for a change in your body, in everything that you do with your lifestyles and whatever, we have the guest for you today, a very dear friend of ours, Alexis Constantopoulos. And Alexis has achieved a goal in her life that many people wish they could achieve. And she's here to talk about it today with us. She's going to share some of her secrets as to what was the thing that made you want to do it, first of all.
What's your why, Lexi? What's your why?
Everybody, you know, talks about doing all these things. So first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming
You look
back
so
and seeing
good.
us.
Can I say how much you lost?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, you tell them.
165 pounds.
165 pounds, you lost a person.
165 plus.
165 pounds.
Now, what's it like for you to be on the other side of the camera? Because, of course, when you were with us at Samson Productions, you were videographer, tapes,
Editor.
did everything. And now you have this great story. So we know you from way back when you were constantly struggling with your weight. And it was, you know, the starvation, the exercise, the whatever.
The yo-yo dieting that we all go through.
Oh yeah, I did it all. I struggled with my weight my whole life. I remember going to the pediatrician with my mom at a young age, talking to the pediatrician about how can we get Alexis to lose weight? She needs
Really?
to lose weight. And the doctor was like, give her a glass of milk before every meal. That'll fill her up and she'll eat less. So I remember this from all of my life, just trying to lose weight. And it was always, back at that time, starving yourself, eat less, do more, be active. And I was always very active, but I was also always very heavy.
So let's back it up a second. So you're a young girl, you're active, and yet you were still heavy. Did they check your metabolism? I mean, what did you go through at that time? Were you made fun of? Did you just not like yourself? Was it the pediatrician that said you're heavy? Who's that person that said to you, you're too heavy?
I always remember my pediatrician being the person to say that it was a problem. And he would show me the height and weight chart and he'd be like, this is where you should be. And he's like, and you're all the way over here. That's terrible. And it affected me early.
Yeah, I was just going to say, how'd that make you feel? It's like, let me go eat a cheeseburger and feel better.
Yeah, no, it made me feel terrible always. I left that pediatrician being sad every time, and my brother always had rave reviews, and it was like, why Alexis? Why Alexis? And my mom would be like, she eats the same as everybody else, but it just so happened that I was much heavier than everybody else. And it just started from such a young age of like being upset about my weight. And I will say that while I was made fun of, I never was really like terribly made fun of in school. I had a lot of friends. I was very social. I just always struggled with it. Even though I played field hockey and softball and did it for the whole year, did summer league, did winter leagues, I was just always active and never could figure it out.
So you accepted it?
Yeah. And you know,
I don't think you accepted it. I think, and I only know this because we worked closely together. I mean, back in the day, like you're saying, like coming from a news anchor side, like everyone was skinny on TV. You starved yourself to lose weight. Let's face it, like we would have like half a Subway hoagie for the day and be like, yes, and then work out, right? And then you would drop all this weight doing cardio and not eating, but then again, the struggle is then you'd gain it and then you'd lose it.
Right, because you can only maintain that for so
Right.
long.
You can only starve yourself for so long.
And that's how I would begin my yo-yos of like, let me try this thing, which always inevitably was a starvation diet of some kind. Not so many carbs, nothing with sugar, you know. I'll do the Mediterranean diet, I'll do the Atkins diet, I'll do keto, I'll do
Remember
all
the
of
fat-free
things.
phase?
Oh yeah.
Everything was, as long as it said fat-free, you could eat it.
Yeah, so
do the,
I did them all.
Intermittent fasting?
I actually didn't ever do that.
That's new. That's too
Because
new.
I was like, I do go long periods of time without eating. I don't think I need to
Yeah.
like actually now do the math behind it.
Right.
But, you know, I tried them all and it would always be, I did it for a certain period of time and then I would lose my mind. over, I can't do this forever. I can't never eat a piece of bread again. Are you kidding me? Like, it's just not sustainable. And that is what I found. Nothing was just sustainable.
Well, did you continue gaining weight then? Because you said as a child you were heavy. And then was it consistent as you grew? Did you keep gaining weight, or did you just all of a sudden have spurts of weight gain?
I will say that I was just always heavier than most anybody my age growing up. And then through high school, I would go through like the dieting and like Weight Watchers and things like that. I mean, I was going to Weight Watchers at 14. I was drinking Slim Fasts and doing all that kind of stuff. And I would lose weight, but then I would gain it as I would go off of those things. And then I ended up getting very heavy once I went to college. And college is where I didn't do sports because I was worried about my studies. I struggled studying, so I was like, I really need to pay attention and focus. But then once I was away from home and I was eating and then drinking, it was like less activity without doing my regular sports. It just really snowballed, and that's when I became my heaviest.
And your heaviest, which we showed the picture of, that one picture that you always show, is just, what do you think of when you look at that picture now?
I wish I could hug her and just tell her, it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine.
You got this.
Yeah. Because like I always knew, like even I had been active ever since I was young. And my mom wanted to put me in gymnastics but couldn't afford it, like when I was very little. And she had a hard time having me sit still. But I just couldn't figure out like really what the problem was. And diabetes and things run in my family. So, you know, I have a lot of heavy relatives. So is it genetic also? I think definitely. Because I know people who even go to my gym now who are fit and do stuff. They do cardio every once in a while. They, you know, sometimes can't make their workouts. I'm definitely the most reliable, dedicated person. And I just know for me, if I have a period of time where I slip up, it comes back quickly. You know, like my
You know
my
your
physique
body.
changes. Yeah, exactly.
You know your body.
Well, you've gone through it for so long. You started as a child. And so you've been basically doing it your whole life. We know people who were always very, 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 very thin, and then they get to a point in their life, or maybe it's change of life or stress or whatever, and they start gaining weight. They don't know how to take that because they've never been on a diet.
Well, they never been on a diet, but they never even had to like be concerned. Right. The thing that someone told me that was addicted to food as opposed to addicted to alcohol is like, you can get rid of alcohol. You need to eat every day. So every day it's a decision.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
take us to what was the turning point? I know you were turning 40, but how did it click this time? Because this is like a total life transformation for you.
Oh yeah. So when I had left Samsung, when I left SSP TV, I went to New York City and started my job there. And I'd be able to, and I had lost weight before I left. And then I had a trainer, but in the city I could only afford a trainer for 3 months at a time, and then I would have to save money. And then in the time where I didn't have a trainer, I would gain weight and stop lifting. I'm very good at doing cardio by myself, but I'm not good at lifting by myself. I just rather somebody take the thought process out of it, tell me what to do, watch my form, make sure it's all correct. So then I would, gain some weight, go back to a trainer, gain some weight. Well, I went back to a trainer at one point and unfortunately hurt myself. And when I hurt myself, I had to go to a chiropractor, I had to get like physical therapy, and I wasn't able to work out regularly. And then I gained weight again. And then I slowly started chipping away once more. But again, back to the kind of not being able to get back down to where I had initially gotten. So again, just back to struggling. And then I ended up moving back home, which I live in Stroudsburg now. And once I moved back home, it was 2019. And then the pandemic started in 2020. So all the gyms shut down. And 2020 was a very stressful year work-wise, having to shift gears and work completely remote from home and figuring out how to do all of that. And at the same time, my great aunt who I had moved in with in Brooklyn got sick. She got cancer. And because of COVID, I couldn't visit her. So that was just another added stress. And by the end of 2020, I had been like back up a lot, not my absolute heaviest, but January of 2021, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this back up, back down. Like, I'm going to start, I want to be the healthiest version of myself by my 40th birthday, which was going to be June 1st of 2023. And I'm going to join a gym, and I'm going to financially commit, no matter what it takes, to afford a trainer. I'm going to get a trainer, and I'm going to keep it. And I'll budget myself with anything else, but I have to do that.
So you gave all the money to the trainer and you couldn't eat.
Yeah, no, thank God it wasn't that. It wasn't back to the starvation, honestly. It
Thank
was,
God.
let's incorporate weight training. Let's slowly figure out what you're eating and adjust what you're eating to being, you know, just healthier options than even what I thought were healthier options at the time. And work from there.
We're bombarded with where it's like you're just confused at that point. You're just like, eat this, but don't eat that. Do high carb. Do low this. Don't eat fat. Don't, you know?
Yeah, I've had trainers, you know, I've had a plethora of trainers, and there was a period of time where I had a trainer who said, don't eat carrots because carrots are actually sweet. And if you cook a carrot down, it ends up having more sugar, you know?
Exactly.
And it's like, don't eat carrots.
All right, now we can't eat carrots.
All right, well, we have to take a break right now, as you know. We have to take a break. Sam's giving us the wrap-up thing. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Girls here on SSP TV. Who doesn't like a weight loss show? Success, right? Before and after.
Absolutely.
165 pounds Lexi lost. And she's with us. She's been with us through work, through after work, through relationship. I mean, we've been friends for a long time.
I know.
We've kept in touch so many years. How long has it been?
2006, I started working
gosh.
for you guys.
2006. I mean, it's been a roller coaster of seeing Lexi go through so many different plans with diet and like so much. So struggling with your weight, I think Lexi can offer like a lot of good advice to anyone. You don't always need a trainer and a nutritionist. So what are some, as that was good for you, but like you need to be in the game, right? Your head mentally, you have to be mentally strong to make these changes, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I am very mindful about what I eat. And if I'm able to bring food places that I think are not going to have options and that I'm able to bring food, I will bring it. If I'm traveling and I still have food that I've prepped in my refrigerator, I will bring it. You can bring food onto an airplane in a Tupperware container. You might not be able to travel with more than 4 ounces of liquid, but you can bring 7 chicken breasts and like broccoli. And I've done it many times. But like if I can do it and be healthy, I'll do it. Or I always look at menus to restaurants before I go out and plan ahead so that I'm not surprised when I get there or feel, you know, weak in the moment and just order something unhealthy. And it's not to say that I never eat unhealthy. I definitely have treats and cheat meals or whatever you want to call them. But I, you know, do it in moderation. And my moderation before was much different than my moderation now.
So talk about that.
So do you plan what you're going to eat? Like you plan when you're going to cheat? Do you plan your...
I do.
It's
I
knowing
log
ahead
my
of time
food.
what you're eating that's half the battle.
Yeah, and I log my food still every day. It just makes me feel, you know, I'm type
control?
A. I like to be in control of what is happening and just seeing it, because before you know, a lot of things can add up very quickly. You'll be like, oh, I just had 1 bite of this and 1 bite of this and 1 drink here. And it's like, whoa, I've had half of my calories at 1 meal, you know? So it's good for me to keep track, and there are free apps that you can use. My MyFitnessPal is free. Chronometer is a free app that still offers a scanning, like a barcode option. And you can go on and each of them will offer you like calories, but it's good to Google what your age is and what a good calorie count should be, and they'll give you a breakdown of carbs, fat, and protein. And protein is so important. They say that for protein, you should have 0.8 to 1 ounce per what you want to weigh. So if you weigh 300 pounds, you shouldn't be eating 300 grams of protein,
Right.
or 300 grams of protein. You should be weighing what you want to weigh. So if you want to weigh 170 pounds, you should have 170 grams of protein a day, which some people are so far off from. And it's amazing because I definitely was far off from that at one point in my life. And I also found out that I was eating, when I was trying to eat lower carb, I was hardly eating any carb, and I was having a tremendous amount of fat, which obviously everybody is different, but especially for a woman, I wanted to lose fat. So I had to really cut back down on my fat and actually increase my carbs, which, you know, that part was exciting, but it was hard for me to get used to because I would like just grab a handful of nuts here, a handful of nuts there. And it's like, whoa, 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 let's have some lean protein options and, you know, some healthy carbohydrates to balance it all out.
Now that's what's working for you. There's a formula for everyone's body.
And that's
so
why it's
that's how you
confusing.
figured it out for yourself. How was that able to be figured out for you? Through the trainer, through your doctors, through your trial and error? How did you know that this is working? Like, how did you come to this?
I feel like I just figured it out over my years of trial and error, to be honest. Typically, men work better with lower carb diets and women work better with more carbs and less fat. But yeah, you're right. Everybody is completely different, especially if you have underlying health conditions like diabetes or heart disease. Like, those things are going to change. And there are places, you know, sometimes your insurance will pay for a nutritionist. A nutritionist is a good place to start because, you know, because that can be covered instead of like a personal trainer, which isn't covered. And they can guide you into being, you know, telling you what would work best for you.
Right, because I could just see everybody out there going, okay, this is how many grams I need to have. That may not work for that person.
Right.
Yeah,
But
and how do
ideally,
you know?
most people, if you have a balance of protein, carbs, and fat at every meal, and fiber is so important, people really don't eat enough vegetables. And like, I even went to the grocery store yesterday, and the girl checking me out was like, wow, this is a lot of broccoli. Wow, this is a lot of asparagus. I'm like, yeah, and it's all for me. She's like, it is? I'm like, yeah, because I eat a lot of vegetables at every meal. And again, I weigh my food. So I eat about 150 grams of broccoli per meal, 200 grams of cabbage. Like, I really mix it up too.
Give the people an idea of how much that is. Like in a handful, is it what?
Oh, more than half my plate typically
There you
is
go.
vegetables.
Right.
Fiber keeps things moving, you know?
That's right. Keeps everyone happy.
Exactly. Get it in and then.
So your biggest take from this is this whole experience, because you've been doing this for years.
Oh,
This
yeah.
didn't happen overnight.
No, absolutely not. And while it was so much work, I am unbelievably happy at what I've learned about myself through it all, to the point where I've even thought about changing careers and maybe I'll go into nutritionist, become like a registered dietitian, because I find the science of how people's bodies can maintain like certain calories and lose weight and how your body reacts to certain things, it like is really amazing to me now. And if I could help anybody, like, you know, it's very cliche to say, if I could help one person or motivate one person to do what I've done, like, that'd be so great.
After losing all the weight, and you wanted to do it for so many reasons, for health reasons, how you looked, how you felt, how you could dress, everything about yourself. What did you end up with? Are you satisfied with your results? Did you have to have additional things go on because of all the weight you lost?
So because
you lose a lot of weight.
I lost a lot of weight and I had a ton of skin. So I did try to, through my insurance company, have skin removal surgery paid for, which I found out that typically places don't pay for that.
Which is ridiculous.
I had a letter from my regular doctor, a letter from my gynecologist, a letter from my dermatologist. I submitted 3 separate times, multiple letters from each, and every time I was denied. So I ended up getting the skin removal surgery, but I had to pay for it out of my own pocket.
And is your pediatrician still alive?
I don't think so.
I would love to see that meeting. I would love to see it. Look at me now.
I don't think he is, but yeah, I mean,
What does your family think? Because they know you.
oh, they're amazed. It's so funny how sometimes they're like, you know, every time I see them, you look amazing, you look amazing. But then sometimes they're like, oh, come on, not today, not today. And I'm like, no, today I have to do it today. Like I have to like be on my game. You know, so many people, especially now around the holidays, they'll be like, holidays are just like 3 days, really. You know, it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, it's New Year's. No, no, no. Everybody celebrates almost every weekend leading up to it. So like when I can be good, I do try to be good, but you know, you also have to live your life and not make yourself too insane.
Yeah, everything in moderation too.
Exactly.
And you know, if you plan for it and you do exercise extra after you do cheat, how do you get rid of that?
No, I just go right back to my regular thing. I don't starve myself or, you know, do massive amounts of cardio or anything. I just have the day and then the next day right back to everything.
Forgive
So
yourself.
how does this incorporate with everyday life? Because it sounds like a lot.
It
right?
definitely is.
It's a lot. So how do you incorporate that with, you know, relationships and work and stress and not sleeping, like, because it's a commitment. You wake up early every day. You prep your food every day. Let's take the financial part about it away from it. It's more than that.
Yeah, so
It's consuming.
I, you know, once a week I go grocery shopping and I do what's called batch cooking, which has been interesting with my boyfriend moving in with me. I make a bunch of chicken, a bunch of vegetables, and then I carbs of some sort, whether it's sweet potato, regular potato, rice, and then I just weigh out what I want to eat and I eat it, and then I only have, you know, typically healthy options in my house to go for, but I'm used to that. So even the first night that he moved in and I made dinner, it was like, he's like, it's just a plate of beef. And I'm like, well, yeah, but there's also broccoli and rice. And he's like, just beef. And I was like,
did he
oh my
want?
God, this is so different from people though. Like, I didn't think it was different, but that's how I've been eating for so long
Yeah.
that I didn't think it was. So that's been interesting.
Will you go out to eat, or is it like,
Yeah, I go out to eat and I will research the menus beforehand and see what I'm going to order and then base what I eat during the day off of what I'm going to have at night.
So like, what was your order in a restaurant?
Typically salmon, because every time I make salmon, I overcook it. And at home, I mostly eat chicken, but salmon, shrimp, I like to order seafood typically when I'm out, or a steak, like a lean steak option.
will you ever have pizza?
Oh yeah, I eat pizza.
Okay.
I gotta. In moderation.
In moderation.
I might want a whole pizza, but, you know, 2 slices and a salad will do.
That's decent.
You're
Yeah.
more satisfied now too, aren't you? Because you're looking.
Yeah.
Isn't like the outcome make you want to say no? Because
Not necessarily, not when you have like food addiction, it doesn't, because, you know, it can feel like that gateway drug, almost how you were saying, like alcoholics don't need to have alcohol in their
just
house.
get it out, right.
You have to have food in your house. So like it can still be hard, especially if I've not eaten a lot throughout the day and I'm very hungry and I get somewhere where there's a lot to be had. You know, I have to be like mindful to take my time.
you have triggers too. Are you an emotional eater?
Oh yeah, for sure. If I'm very stressed and like working from home, if I'm stressed, even though I have healthy options, like I could eat like 20 dates. Nobody should eat 20 dates at
That's
one
bad.
sitting, but like I easily could. You could pop those in like they're nothing. Also very important to drink water.
Yeah.
Drinking lots of water. That is the one thing that I definitely do every time I do feel stressed or like I want to eat a lot. I'll always say, let me drink some water first and give myself 5 minutes just to, before I make a decision about what I'm going to eat.
Right.
Because am I just thirsty? And water's just really good for you.
Cheers to water. I have water in my hand.
And rest.
Yes, rest is very important too.
Need to rest.
Oh, we love your story. And you're always awesome, no matter what size
How about
you
the
are.
pictures? The pictures don't lie.
Hard work has paid off for sure.
Absolutely. And you did it all on your own as far
Yes.
as no weight loss surgeries, no kind of
No
gimmicks
pills.
and pills and whatever
No.
else. It was just.
And honestly, for me, that's how I learned too, because with those things, you don't learn like how to control yourself, what right foods to eat, and I've learned the things that work for me and the things that don't.
Yeah. The other way is you're just getting to
Trial and
a
error.
number on a scale where you're not actually becoming healthy.
You also mentioned, I think it was during break, how important lifting is, right? Strength training.
Yeah, especially as we get older, like at 40, I think your muscle starts to deteriorate even faster. And having more muscle also, just like around your bones to protect yourself, like if you tend to fall or whatever as you age, or
Just being able to move.
yeah,
You need muscle.
Exactly. And getting up and down off the floor is easy, you know, like if I'm sitting in one position for a long period
Right.
of time, it doesn't hurt. Like,
Your body looks a lot different when you're just reducing calories as it is when you're lifting and reducing calories.
yeah, at one period of time when I initially lost a lot of weight, I hadn't been lifting and I was just doing the cardio and I was doing all like the starvation kind of things. And then I had gotten injured and gained weight and then lost weight again, but had the trainer. And at one point I hit the same weight that I had been, but I couldn't fit into a pair of jeans that I could. But I had more muscle and my body was completely different, but I preferred it with the muscle than when I had no muscle.
You post them, and I'm always saying, how much does that weigh? I don't know, I'm just lifting it because, you have the trainer. So, that's another thing too, losing so much weight to keep that muscle there so you don't just look like all this
Yeah, I think I would look
skeleton.
even actually a lot older if I didn't like keep up with the weight training too.
Yeah, you look gorgeous.
We
as
love
usual.
you. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sure we'll get a lot of reviews on this.
Yeah, well, you could go and watch us everywhere. You can watch us on ssptv.com. All right, guys, we're going to keep chatting with Lexi, and we might even get her to have a glass of water.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.